Nobody indeed. What is good? Welcome into Driving the Line. My name is Alan Bell. We got a fantastic show lined up for you today. All kinds of good stuff. Bradley, how we doing, buddy?
Doing great, AV. Other than this rain that will not kick out of Nashville, other than that little darkness, but the weekend of football was awesome. There was tons. Seriously, the results insane. We had rotations. Everything in the world of football was happening this weekend, and it continues to go forward with another big week ahead of us.
Yeah, man. Yeah, indeed. Look, and let me tell you, you talk about the rain. I just came running in from it right there, dude. Yeah, it's been pouring. But you know what? The crops need it. So there we go. All right, we got a great show lined up for you today. Oh, real quick. All right, so a couple things. Number one, shout out to our man, Justin Weber. Became a member of Brad Bet Footies sub to support my man. He's been killing it. Absolutely. And everybody, make sure to join up over there and hit the like button. Those are the only two things that we'll ask. You don't even have to join over here, but support our guy for sure because he's been crushing it. And I know that doing all of that with a newborn baby cannot be simple at all. So, yeah, Justin, shout out to you there. Number two, if you could hit the like button for us as I lose my voice. If you're watching on your phone, just pull the screen down, hit like, pop it right back up. I promise that'll be all that we ask of you today. And Justin, well done. All right, let's get into it. Take a look at our picks here from yesterday. 1 and 3. Anybody who took Nolan Arenado over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, way to go. You're a smarter man than me. Matt Olson, he gets there. Jamal Murray, Alex Caruso, just brutal. Now, all right, so those are our picks. Again, 1 and 3. We don't ever hide from them. Try to be the most transparent show that we have out here. All right, our Howie Schwab crew play of the day. All right, so we have no NHL. We have no NBA. It is Major League Baseball and what we have from the international soccer world here. So, Phillies Rockies over 10, Phillies Rockies under 10. Are you going to go Diamondbacks Dodgers over 9.5 or Diamondbacks Dodgers under 9.5? Polls in the chat. Vote now. Update as we always do at the end of the show. So, Brad, I do have one thing to say. So, last week we were talking about, you were talking about Gatorade in a can, right? And then we got to talking about like Gatorade bottles and the 32-ounce Gatorade, the squeeze with like the sip thing at the top, how that's kind of like the GOAT, right, of Gatorade bottles because you could drink from it. You could, do the squirt. I just realized a minute ago, it's not better than the 32-ounce, but it's solid and deserves somewhere in the mentioning around like the Mount Rushmore of them. The Propel bottle, all right? It's not bad, right? Like, I like how you have, like, this top. I'm a huge fan of these kind of tops because, again, you could drink, you could spray. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, I believe Propel deserves some of the love here. Andrew White says, hot take, Propel is gross. I mean, it's like anything else. I can't argue with, what people like, what people don't like, right? Are you a Propel guy, Bradley?
It's okay. I like Propel a little bit more back in the day when there wasn't as many options. Now that there are, and I'm a little older, I don't know. I tend to just go for an electrolyte mix, straight up, poured into water, or straight up water.
That was a very political no.
Not anymore, basically. I used to crush the Propel.
Oh, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, look. Hey, Curtis agreed. He said Propel's gross. Yeah. A lot of people, I think they're out on Propel. I think they're out. Matty Boy said AV is officially on the Gatorade payroll. I'd take it. Boy, I'd be pushing Gatorade. We'd all be coming on with Gatorade bottles on necklaces around here.
We're just working for that Powerade promotion.
Yeah. Who owns Powerade? Is it Coca-Cola? Might be. I don't know.
I think so. That sounds about right.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. Move on. All right, let's get to the picks, man, of what we have for today. Go ahead and let it rip, buddy. What you got?
Yes, we are headed to the second division of Poland. On your book, it will be Polish 1 Liga or the Polish First Division. It is the second tier in a matchup between Miezh Legnica taking on Termalika. Oh my gosh, this is brutal. Termalica Nichiza. Termalica Nichiza. We're taking both the teams to score at minus 130. We're also taking the over 2.25 at minus 140. This is a bet split, which means it is one bet split two ways. So instead of taking any type of parlay, this is the way we're going to do it because I see more of that both teams to score coming in. And if it stays on both teams to score, we'll get half of that second bet back, which is very important. It'll keep us into that profitability category. Now, Miedz Legnica has scored now in 87% of the last 31 and 20 of the last 21 at home. Their regular scores up there at the top of the table with almost nothing to play for, really, just needing 1 point from their last two matches. The same thing on the away end, but they have now scored in 10 of the last 11 and 30 of the last 39. So trending in the conceding, trending in the scoring. They're also trending into both teams to score specifically at home, 9 of the last 10 at home and 9 of the last 10 over 2.5. So they're hitting their totals recently, hitting their totals trending, and they're taking out a Termalica Nichiza side on the away end, who scored now in 92% of their last 37. They're also regular scores up at the top of the table, but Termalica, they score multiple. In the last 36 league matches, they've scored 2+ in 25, which is 69%. So just around 7 out of every 10 matches will have multiple. They do it against their opponent as well. 5 of the last 6 away from home against them and 5 of the last 6 against them. They conceded now in 19 of 24, which is 79%. Both teams scoring, both teams conceding. Both teams hitting both teams to score. Both teams hitting over 2.5 goals. Both teams, when they hit both teams to score, hit over 2.5 goals in 86 and 88% of their matches. And in this matchup history, 3 straight have hit both teams to score, including 2 of 2 with Miedz at home, 2 of 3 hit over 2.5, including 2 of 2 at home, and all both teams to score, 6 of 7 have hit the over 2.5. So we're taking both teams to score and the over 2.25 Asian total, which gives us half of a push for 2 goals and a full cash for 3 on that second part of the bet split.
Beautiful work. Now, I'm glad that you pronounced those and not me, because there's not a damn chance on planet Earth I would come close on any of them.
That one's
well
tough.
Done. You did good. You did good. All right. Now, our man Abby said, you ready for nonstop college baseball starting tomorrow? Hell yes. And Abby's going to be there down there at beautiful Hoover, Alabama for the SEC tournament. Hey, send us some pictures. Send us, correspondent. Exactly. Be our boots on the ground, man. Absolutely love it. That's going to be awesome, man. It's going to be awesome. All right. 3 plays for me, Major League Baseball. Pete Crow Armstrong, over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs of the Cubs, plus 125. Jordan Beck of the Rockies, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, minus 110. And then Corbin Carroll of the Diamondbacks, over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at plus 130. Matty Boy said he went over 1.5 on Pete Crow Armstrong and Corbin Carroll, chugging the juice. Let's go. Yeah, totally get it. Again, could be a smart play, right? Taking down from 2.5 to 1.5, eating the juice. Most important thing in any bet, Brad, is to get the win. You know what I mean? It's the most important thing. So, yeah, respect that one there. Justin said, be careful of conference play. I feel like it's not as weighted as regionals. Teams may not be at their best. Yeah, look, we'll talk about it. There's a lot that goes into it. And, Justin, that's a good point. Let me pull the screen up here real quick, just so we can see what we're referencing here. And this, I'm just using this as an example, because we have conference tournaments all over the board. But this is the SEC baseball tournament, which begins tomorrow. But, I mean, again, you're going to see them in the Big 10. You're going to see them in the ACC. You're going to see the Big 12. Like, I'm just using this as an example. Tournament play is different than regular season baseball. Soccer, I'm sure it's the same thing, right? Like, in any sport, right? When you start getting into, tournaments and you get into double eliminations and, et cetera, all that, not that the game changes. You're still playing the same game. However, if you're like, look at the first round. All right, let's just take Florida there. All right, take any of the teams. We'll just use Florida. Like Florida starts on Tuesday. Okay, you win. You're there on Wednesday. You lose. You lose. You're in the losers bracket, which is, I mean, just asking for hell on earth to get out of it, right? But look at Florida compared to look at the quarterfinals at the bottom. LSU. LSU's first game is on Friday. Florida's first game is on Tuesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like by the time if Florida gets there, by the time that they are, I mean that's 3 games. Theoretically you've gone through all 3 of your starting pitchers and your bullpen and your hitters have been playing over and over and over. Morning games, afternoon games, night games. Like you never know. Like it's so much. And then you're going up against LSU who hasn't played a game yet. Fully rested, number 1 pitcher on the mound. Hitters are rested, every full bullpen. You see what I'm saying? Like tournament baseball, like any other sport, man, like it's different. Now, doesn't mean that you're not going to get some teams that come out mashing, some teams that don't come. If Florida gets there to Friday, right, the other team is going to be facing a freshman starting and a depleted bullpen. You don't think that they're going to come out and mash that? You know what I mean? So you just have to pay attention to your matchups, right? Like that's the biggest and most important thing. And we'll talk about it every day. Like we'll start tomorrow and we'll look through all the conference tournaments. But yeah, like just understand. Now on Tuesday, you're ace. Like you're going to have your number 1 pitcher for all 8 teams. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, we'll go through it. But it's a good point that was brought up that tournament baseball, man, is just – it's different because it's not equal. And that's your benefit for, you know, if you're LSU, if you're the number 1 team in the country, that's your benefit for having a good season is that you don't start on Tuesday. You start on Friday. You don't have to. You know what I'm saying? So – it's going to be all over the board for sure. And then you're going to have some teams that are fighting to host a regional, some teams that are fighting to get in the tournament. It's a lot of it. All right, let's jump into the NBA here real quick, Brad, and then I want to talk about some soccer, and then we'll get into Major League Baseball. But let's just introduce what we have now. We have 4 teams left in the NBA. All right, Eastern Conference Finals, Western Conference Finals. All right, so yesterday, Sunday, the Thunder take care of the Nuggets. And we talked about it. Game 7s are usually blowouts. And it was. The Thunder handled their business. The Thunder handled their business. The Nuggets, look, man, shout out to them. I mean, they made it a series. They made it as far as they could. The team was gassed. They were just done. I don't know if I would have drawn up Christian Braun shooting 8 threes in the first half. Like, the Nuggets might have drawn up the worst game plan in the history of sports. That was the equivalent of if we were playing a soccer match, like right after the show, like all of us, the crew together. And it was like, hey, you put AB on Brad. Mm-hmm. That's going to work. Yeah, no, that's a great, solid strategy there. Yeah, no road time for AB. No, getting in shape, conditioning. No, just put him on him. Yeah, no, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. It was a brutal one, but shout out to the Nuggets. I mean, look, they made it as far as they could. Melody Sue, got her in the chat. All right, the minister of culture here. Good morning, crew. Good morning, Mel. It's good to see you. We all miss you. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, okay. So here I bring all that up to bring this up, and let me pull it up here. So the Western Conference Finals start tomorrow. Okay, Tuesday. Eastern Conference Finals start on Wednesday. So Tuesday, we have the Timberwolves at the Thunder. Now, the Thunder just went a 7-game series and have 1 day off. That's it. 1 day. Now, they're playing at home, so that theoretically would help. But it feels like the Timberwolves haven't played in a week. You know what I mean? So the Thunder, 7.5-point favorites, a total of 215.5. We'll break it down more tomorrow, but just the introduction of game one. Like, Brad, I thought you don't have to make a pick. We don't have to do any of that. But, I mean, just the thought process of what you see here, the Timberwolves on full rest, the Thunder on 1 day off. And let me also say, we saw in the previous series, all right, coming out of the play-in games, going 1 day off actually helped. The teams actually played well with not much rest. But I throw it over to you. Do you think that plays out again? Or is the short rest going to hurt them?
Well, before we even get here, I want to say shout out to the Joker. At one point in that game 7, the people on the floor alongside Joker, beside Jamal Murray, was Westbrook, some guy named Watson, and some guy named Strother. So we're asking the best player in the league to get this far with that lineup. You know, shout out Joker for getting that far. The Thunder are just too talented, and we saw it straight up. Now, this match specifically, if I'm playing football, soccer, I want to be on the pitch day in and day out. I want that repetitive nature. I want to be able to have those touches, be alongside my teammates. You know, I just want that familiarity. So I really think that in game 1 here, the Thunder, who have been the most tested of these two teams throughout the playoffs, or at least in this last round, I think the Thunder come out here in game 1, take it. I'm not sure about the spread. It's a little bit in between for me. I do lean an over, but that's quite a high number. And I think the Timberwolves come out in game 2 and get adjusted. But I think game 1, they're going to be a little bit overwhelmed. Could be a 10-point victory, in my opinion.
Wow. Yeah. Look, I don't say that disagreeing. Agree. Like, I'm with you. This is tough, man. Like 7.5 points is a big spread. That total interests me because I feel like, how do I say this? I feel like this game is either 230 points or 195 points. And I think that I lean to the under. Because look, both of these teams can play defense. We know that the Timberwolves, can play D for sure. They're big and they're not afraid to be aggressive. They block a lot of shots, but the Thunder can play defense too. Yeah, Cyclone, T-Wolves play hard defense. I think so too. But yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's tough. For me, it's the shooting of the Thunder. I think the Thunder just have a better crew of knockdown shooters, of guys around Shea. So if Shea is driving and gets into that space, I mean, they have to stop him from there and not be able to let him do that little kick out. So once he gets into that paint, if they're covering that quick pass, I think the Timberwolves have a great shot. But if not, I think they could get hosed.
Yeah, they could. If the guys around SGA are hitting threes, this thing's going way over. Because Minnesota surprisingly can shoot threes too. Even their bigs can shoot. Now, they don't shoot a million of them, but like these are two very they're very fundamental team. They're deep. Like they can play 8 deep. They don't mind going to the benches. You know what I mean? Like they've got guys. I'm fascinated with it. I don't have a play on it just yet, but yeah, look, Curtis, and this is why I struggle with it right now. The Thunder and the Wolves, they mirror one another. The Thunder are more talented for sure. I mean, the Thunder could be the most talented team in the league. Now, I feel like you could say that for a couple guys, or a couple teams. Yeah, it's tough. Z-Money, what about a series bet for these conference finals? OKC minus 1.5 games, which is a 4-2 series or better. Minnesota plus 1.5, meaning a 4-3 loss or Minnesota wins. Yeah, that one's tough. Brad, you're saying no.
I don't want any spread in this. When you got a dog like Anthony Edwards in there, he can take over a game by himself. I actually personally see this going 7. I think both could split at home and away. I think they're just too good. Whoever's hot on the night. I think game 7 is going to be that factor. But I need to see game one before I can really go forward into the season, how they match up well together, who's guarding who's penetrating, who's not, who's hitting their shots, just like in soccer, anything else like that. We got to see how they match up, who is on who.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a real good point. Big Scott, what up? What up, bro? Good to see you. All right, let's jump over to the next game. So the Eastern Conference Finals. This begins on Wednesday. All right, Pacers and the Knicks. Man, it's going to be a great series. Game one in New York. Knicks 4.5-point favorite. Total of 223.5. Again, we'll talk more about it when we get closer, but I feel like the Pacers, I feel like in game one, it is going to be tough for me not to take the Pacers plus 4.5. Not saying the series, not picking a winner of all of it. But in game one of the Knicks and taking out the Celtics, look, I'm not saying that it's the Red Sox and the Yankees, but there was some emotion, like taking the Celtics out, right? Like these two fan bases don't like each other. Like there was something there, right? And again, I give all the credit in the world to the Knicks for the way that they play. They don't pull starters. They don't pull bull. Like they come at you. And they keep coming. There's no quit in this team. You're not allowed to even have the thought of waving white flag. They don't do that. And I respect the hell out of that. Absolutely. Up, down, whatever. Your ass ain't coming out of the game. I couldn't respect that more. What I'm getting at is that I do think if there were any game that the Knicks could come out a little flat, I think it could be this one. I think it just could be game one. They might win the series 4-1, but I think it's going to be impossible for me not to take the Pacers plus 4.5. Give it to me. I'll absolutely take it. And if I lose the bet, fine. Price is worth the cost of admission. I could deal with that. But I think I'm rolling with the Pacers plus 4.5. What are your thoughts?
I think I'm with you on this. It's a really small spread. So 4.5 points in this scenario is quite close. And I think the books are kind of trying to tell us something. My personal opinion, and this is just really an opinion, is that I think the Pacers are going to come out hot. They're going to come out with a lot of that just confidence in their ability to be able to play the way that they have played. The Knicks had a really tough series. I think this number one game could be that letdown spot where the Pacers might impose their game plan. They could get the better of the Knicks and then have the Knicks adjust. Sometimes in matchups, you'll see this in all sport. The first match isn't always indicative of how everything's going to go. It's really a feeler. So I think these two teams are going to come out here, feel each other out. You already know what the Knicks are going to do. They're going to roll a constant game plan of pick and roll with Jalen Brunson. People are open and people are hitting and they're playing decent defense. The Knicks have a great shot. But if they're letting the Pacers get out into transition and they're getting in foul trouble, the Pacers could really pull this off because they got a bunch of young, hungry, athletic dudes who can play ball and shoot the three. So I think the Knicks are better. I think the Pacers come out hot, but I think the Knicks in the end get them. So Pacers in game one, I think they're a live dog.
Yeah, I do too. I completely agree. And again, it doesn't mean that, we're saying that the Pacers are going to just completely roll the series. I mean, they could, but the Knicks could do the same thing. Like, we're not saying that at all, but I agree with you. I think that if there were just one game in this series to where and I'm not even saying that New York comes out and looks terrible. I'm just saying that they're not at 100% of what we've seen. Like, the Knicks could win the game by 1 and we still cover. You know what I mean? Like, basically what I'm saying is I don't see any scenario where the Knicks come out and blow the Pacers out. They could win the game. I just don't know if they cover, right? So, yeah. I'm with you on there. But we've got time to talk about it again. This series starts on Wednesday, the Eastern Conference Finals. So, real quick, let's hit our picks one more time, and let's talk some soccer here. Brad, hit us with it. And look, you don't have to pronounce the names again. All right. You've done it once. You did a great job. All right. Just explain what you got.
Yeah, we're going to Poland, the second division. On your book, it will be Poland 1 Liga, or the Polish first division. Just know that is the second tier. The Ekstraklasa is the top flight. But we have a match between Legnica and Termalika. Both teams to score at -130, and the over 2.25 Asian total at -140. 2 goals gives us a half cash on that. 3 goals cashes us in full. But this is a bet split. It's one bet split 2 ways in the second flight of Poland.
All right, Big Tony said, let AB pronounce the names. Tony. Meads, Leginka, Lignica, Linga, Meads, Lingiga, and Termalika, Nietzsche. I just butchered like 4 different languages. I think I brought in a dead language. I started speaking Latin there. It almost got offensive.
This is so hard, dude. Like Poland,
brutal.
the CA is a ZA. So it's like Nitsa, right? What is that?
Yeah. Andrew White said, it's dangerous. I know. It almost got offensive for no. Like, okay. I am familiar with a couple languages. Like, this doesn't feel Polish. This feels Spain. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I almost got YouTube on your neck again. I know. All right, I'm on those kind of Major League Baseball. Pete Crow Armstrong, which also doesn't feel like a real name. Over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, plus 125. Jordan Beck, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, -110. And Corbin Carroll, over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at plus 130. Peggy, I know. Like, Peggy, you're funny. All right. Before I get us kicked off, and a deep fly by Castellanos. That was the perfect drop. Absolute perfect drop. That'll not be touched. Tizzle, that was well done. All right, Brad, I throw it over to you, man. I see you got Saudi Arabia on the board back there. Talk to us about some soccer today, man. What do we need to know?
Yeah, it's a difficult time, right? Last couple matches of a lot of these leagues we have been highlighting over and over again. We've talked about Saudi Arabia a number of times. They've been on the board. There's a number of, I guess you'd say, angles in Saudi, even though there's just the last 2 weeks left of the season. There's a number of angles that we really want to exploit. Both teams are hitting both teams to score, and the over 2.5 trending now 70%. And we've talked about how this league specifically loves a late goal. 70 plus is when what we call Saudi time. It is just when these teams score. A lot of times you'll see the BTTS, the over 2.5. You'll see your totals hit at 75 plus. So 10 of the last 12 matches are also trending in that late goal department. So Saudi Arabia, we got matches throughout this week and finishing on the weekend. So make sure that is in front of you for the rest of this week. But also today, we have a really difficult matchup in the English Premier League. Everybody's eyes are probably looking at this matchup. Who wouldn't? It's what you would see on a normal basis. Brighton and Liverpool, fantastic matchup. Should be some open football, end-to-end type stuff. The one thing you really need to know is neither team can be affected by the result that happens today. So with 2 matches left, you got Liverpool at the top of the league. Gonna be winning the league. They've already clinched it. Can't be upset or even come close. Brighton, they're now outside of where they need to be to qualify. So both teams really nothing to play for. And that can really go one of 2 ways. You can either have guys who are on the beach, not really looking to get injured, maybe some guys who are looking to make moves, some who are coming in, those lineup changes might be very important. Some people might be looking to impress, but then you also have guys who just don't care. And when you have guys who don't care, they're not looking to push forward or overextend themselves, maybe not looking to get into challenges, give away too many balls. So you'll see more possession. We see more possession without intent. You'll see less chances at net. So I'm not necessarily sure where this goes. An over 3 is where the line is, and that really makes sense, right? Both teams' scores come in 5 of 5 matchups for Brighton and Liverpool, and 3 of 3 when Brighton are playing at home versus Liverpool. Over 2.5 has come in 7 of 7 matchups, including 5 of 5 with Brighton at home to Liverpool. Over 3.5 has come in 8 of 13 over 2.5. So it is trending above that 50% mark, and you're hitting that over 2.5 pretty regularly. That over 3 does look like a solid play, but are they going to come out and play hard today? I don't necessarily know. Are we in for one of those 1-1 draws that we've seen a lot lately? Maybe. Brighton does hit their totals when they're at home. They've hit both teams to score in 15 of their last 20 at home and over 2.5, and 23 of the last 27 that hit both teams to score. So you regularly see them score goals and hit the total. Liverpool as well. They never almost hit both teams to score and not hit their totals. They've hit both teams to score now in 23 of the last 35 away matches. So they trend at 2 out of every 3 matches hitting both teams to score. When they hit over 2.5 or both teams to score, the over 2.5 comes in 38 of 39. So if we do think or see both teams to score, there's a really good chance that hits the over 2.5. If it hits the over 2.5, there's a great chance it comes to the over 3.5 with the way Liverpool play over 3.5 and 15 of 17 over 2.5. So if you see goals, if they come out on fire, we could have goals. If they come out looking like they want to be in Dubai on the beach, we could definitely see another under. A lot of matches all throughout the world of football. There's a great match in Denmark. Brøndby, team we've tailed on a number of occasions, are taking on Midtjylland. Midtjylland are already really in a qualified spot. They don't necessarily need to move forward, but Brøndby at home have to push. They need to get all 3 points in order to try to get into those European spots. So I do expect Brøndby to come out and play on fire, but the goal total in this matchup specifically has just not hit it. Midtjylland on the away end doesn't necessarily need to push. So do they even allow Brøndby to have the same amount of opportunities? I don't know. Not necessarily one I would love to look at. There's another great matchup in Israel, right? We're going to go through a few of these matches all over the world, but Israel, matchup between Maccabi Haifa taking on Maccabi Tel Aviv. Maccabi Tel Aviv are one of the scoring darlings, especially in Israel. They pound the overs, but not against Maccabi Haifa. They have just consistently produced unders. 2 of the last 9 under 2.5 goals for Maccabi Tel Aviv against Maccabi Haifa is very, very irregular. So if you're looking in Israel, maybe think twice about that match. There's a couple other I could go over. We've got Sweden today. We've got the UAE, which is happening right now. There's 2 divisions of Poland. You've got Denmark. You've got Estonia, England, a number of opportunities. But with these last few matches, make sure that people have something to play for. If not, you could just get caught in a lot of variance. I've said it again, and I'm going to continue to say it, especially the way we saw MLS this past week. 3 matches in 7 days, rotation. So be careful. Make sure the teams are in your lineups before you make plays, and we'll be back on Wednesday to look for maybe a look in Thursday's Europa League clash.
You can follow Brad on the X, really all of them at Brad Betts Funny, because my Lord, the man delivers every single time. Find all of his contact info, subscriptions, you name it. Brad, I mean, just well done. What else do we say? Just well done, dude. And also and I don't know if this could be a t-shirt or not, but I believe you said that it's Saudi time, which that just feels great.
Oh. Hashtag Saudi time, baby. 70+ minute. Just get in there and throw a bet down. You're more likely to hit it than you're not. Saudi time, baby. It's been fun all season.
It feels like something like you would say at the end of a WWE promo. It's Saudi time.
I like that. Hey, Mike, hey, t-shirt.
Yeah, it is. Look, hey, and shout out to Saudi Daisy, Tennessee, which is not spelled anywhere close to that, but it reminded me of it. All right, let's get into our home runs in baseball for today. If you could, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. If you could hit the like button for us, it would be phenomenal. Only thing that we'll ask of you, if you're watching on your phone, take a screen, pull it down, hit like, pop it right back up. You'll be good. Now, on to mashing home runs today. Corbin Carroll, Diamondbacks, plus 250. Bryce Harper, Phillies, plus 340. Jorge Soler, plus 425. Bobby Witt, plus 450. Kyle Tucker, plus 500. Bradley, I throw it over to you. Who you like today? What looks good? Where you going?
Oh, you know what? I'm going to back my fellow soccer capper, my guy from the other show. Give me Jorge, baby. Jorge Soler plus 425.
There you go. I like it. The little pale. Andrew said first take on AB's ass. Yeah, got first take behind us. Stephen A. is going to come after Screaming A. Hey, there is a push for Stephen A. to run for political office. It's wild. America's crazy. All right, man. I like Bobby Witt. You know what? I'm going Kyle Tucker. I feel like nobody's going to be talking about him today. Give me Tuck plus 500. The man is way overdue. Now, Bobby Witt is a great choice. Bryce Harper is a great choice. Hey, Corbin Carroll. The Diamondbacks could come out and mash. But I'm going Kyle Tucker. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the Cubs today in general. My man, Adam Westbury says, I like Pete Crow. Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, I feel you on Pete Crow. I'm betting him myself. I feel you. But I think that, yeah, I'm going Kyle Tucker. I'm doing it. And yeah, I mean, it's brutal. Rick, 80, we're going to talk about that. Yeah, there's a great shot for it here. Melody said George Soler. I love it. All right, let's get into the weather and what we have. First game, Cubs and the Marlins. Okay, now I don't know if there's any betting show on planet Earth that talks weather as much as we do or even discusses it. I don't know. What I do know is that if they do, they're going to look at this game and they're going to see the wind and they're going to not really discuss it like it's not a huge positive. Let me completely disagree with that. And I will put DTL's name, or this fine brand's name, on the line today. That this is phenomenal baseball weather. Now, you got to go out and do it. And the Marlins aren't exactly known as the 27 Yankees. They ain't murderers row out here. But this humidity, don't pay attention to the wind. 7 miles an hour, whatever. Not concerned with it. Look at the humidity. It's already hot, temperature-wise, mid-80s. That feels like, that humidity is 80%. It's huge. And as Adam says here, roof is open. It's there. It is all there. If the Cubs want a game to come out and mash, and not that they haven't been hitting, this is people, if anybody else does weather, they're going to look at the wind and they're going to disregard it. Do not do that because the wind is not going to matter. Roof open, roof closed, doesn't matter. But that humidity is real, and I don't care if you have, a stadium that's retractable. Go open your back door to your house, right? Leave it open. If it's 80% humidity in these temperatures, open the back door. Let it sit open for 10 minutes. You go feel that. That heat's going to come in the house quickly, all right? So don't worry about the wind. Look at the humidity, and it's huge. And for anybody who may be new to our lovely little brand here and doesn't know why we talk about humidity, every 10% increase in humidity above 55% results in roughly an additional 10 to 15 feet of carry of the baseball when hit. I'm telling you, there's an opportunity here to drop bombs all day long. Astros and the Rays. All right, Big Tony in the chat said it. Florida, it's hot. Yep. And this is a minor league park. All right. 85 degrees, feels like 93. 78% humidity, no rain, and the wind is even blowing out a little bit for you. again, the Astros and the Rays are two teams that can go quiet with the bats. But, buddy, you've got an unbelievable opportunity to hit. Unbelievable opportunity to hit today. Okay, now let's talk about one that could be rough. Guardians and the Twins. All right, in Minnesota, 55 degrees, feels like 45. And you've got 34% chance of rain, and it's going to keep going. And the wind is blowing 17 miles an hour in. Now, this game might not even get played. It might not finish. We bring it up just to be careful. If you're betting anything on this game, if you're betting props, you might not even get the game in. You could start 3 innings and then it gets delayed and then it gets postponed. Like, just be careful. And even if it is played, that wind is something serious to worry about. So we bring it up just because, again, not saying don't play it, but just saying be careful. Big Seth, look, gifted 1 DTL membership. Seth, you are the man. Thank you very much, and welcome to the DTL crew. And then finally, sound like 3-6. All right, Royals and the Giants. Now, sorry, I didn't mean to put that up again. Thank you again, Seth. 60-mile-an-hour winds, but again, it's been proven that this park, it doesn't always mean runs are going to come. Now, it could open up at any moment, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, use judgment on this game. But again, we talk about somebody like Bobby Witt. I mean, Kansas City has horsepower, and not that the Giants don't. But Kansas City has mashers. And if you get one up, you could send it into the bay. But we'll see. All right. Pull this full screen here. Our hitting versus pitching historicals. Hunter Renfroe. 3 home runs off of Robbie Ray. Nick Castellanos. Look at that. 4 hits off 17 at-bats, 3 home runs. Michael Conforto. He's on this list every game or every day. Brett at-bat, 2 home runs off of 9 at-bats. Trey Turner there against Freeland. Yeah, I mean, you could see it. Brett Rooker there, close to the bottom. Got a couple A's on here. Jose Soriano's name listed a lot in this one. Let's invert. You see Bryce Harper down there, bottom. Nico Horner. All right. 5 hits, 8 at-bats. What is that, 600? Mookie Betts, Will Smith. Bryson Stott, who's been hitting. Jordan Beck against Christopher Sanchez. Salvador Perez against Robbie Ray, 2 hits, 6 at-bats. There you go. Our hitting streaks, Major League Baseball. Bellinger at a grand slam last night. 13 straight games with a hit. Jose Ramirez, Guardians, 12 straight games with a hit. Ryan Mountcastle, Orioles, 12 straight games with a hit. See Ivan Herrera, Jake Berger. We don't play enough Jake Berger props on this show. Spencer Steer, 7 straight games. Corey Seager, 6. Ozzie Albies, 6. Julio Rodriguez, Mariners, 6. There we go. Brad, any thoughts that you had on Major League Baseball today? Or any questions? Would you knock over a glass?
Just a little bit of coffee, no big deal.
There you go. All right.
Final thoughts, not there, but I do have a final thought on footy. There was a question which is pretty interesting. What is a pitch and why is it called a pitch for soccer? And back in the days, this is just ridiculous information, but back in the day, when soccer wasn't as popular as cricket, they actually shared the same field as cricket. So they would play on it. And then once they designated it, they started calling it a specific area called a pitch. Over in Britain, term stuck. Now everybody refers to soccer field as a pitch.
That is excellent knowledge right there.
Dumb information, but there was a question in the chat, and I thought,
Oh, I love dumb information. I'm absolutely for it. I'm absolutely for it. Look, and Andrew, my man just spilled coffee on himself and is so locked in you can't even tell. See, that's what I'm saying. That's why he's the best in the business. Accidents happen. All right. It's when you can just shake it off, dude, and just continue with the promo. Dude, that's a professional. It's an absolute professional right there. All right. That's all we have for today. Let's hit our picks one more time. And again, you do not have to say the name. I'm definitely not going to say the name because I'll start offending people that do not deserve or need to be offended.
We'll give it one last run, baby. We're going Miej Legnica taking on Termalitsa Nichiza. And that's in the Poland second division, or Poland, technically first division. Poland, one Liga on your book. We're taking both teams to score -130. Bet split with the over 2.25 Asian total at -140.
Beautiful work, my friend. Yeah. And I said it. Easy for you, Brad. That was well done. You got it. Pete Crow Armstrong over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Jordan Beck of the Rockies over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. And then Corbin Carroll over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs at +130. Now, Aubie in the chat had asked, does Tennessee have a chance at hosting a regional? They do, and a lot of it has to do, quite frankly, with teams in front of them losing. West Virginia getting swept by Kansas, not good for them. Tennessee does get one win out of 2 against Arkansas. I think Tennessee's going to have to win at least one game in the SEC conference tournament. And, I mean, they might not host a regional. Who knows? They got a shot to do it, though. Let's see. Jason. Justin, LSU, greater than Falls. LSU might be better than everybody. And, man, that's a team that could be very dangerous because they're doing everything right. They can hit. They can clearly pitch. Starting pitchers, just LSU has it all, man. They absolutely have it all. Yeah.
You think they're better than Tennessee?
LSU? Oh, yeah. Yeah. No question. Especially right now. Tennessee can't hit. They look, Tennessee's going to be dangerous because let me try. Tennessee is like Jamal Murray in the sense they could show up. Not Jamal, Derek White. They could show up and hit 8 threes out of nowhere. And you just look up, you're like, what just happened? But Derek White's also at home. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to happen every time, but it can happen at any time. That's the danger. So if Tennessee doesn't host a regional, they're going to be ridiculously dangerous at someone else's regional because, I don't know if he's the best pitcher in the country in Liam Doyle, but he might be the number 1 pick of the draft. And he could show up and smoke you, right? But you scoring 3 runs, you can get beat by anybody too. You know what I mean? So
when Doyle's pitching, we should look for unders?
Oh, in those game ones, hell yeah. Right. Yeah, big time. Especially he got shelled really kind of the first time this season by Arkansas. And Arkansas is good too. Like that's a team that could win a national championship. Yeah, there's a lot of teams that are going to be like that are going to show up at someone else's regional and are going to be very dangerous. Very dangerous. Like, I can't wait. That's what makes it so good, man, is that tournament baseball changes the whole aspect of it. Yeah. All right. We'll jump out of here. I know everybody's got work. We got like an hour almost. So, everybody, we'll be live today at 3 p.m. Eastern time. But until then, best of luck. Cash these tickets. We will see you soon. Thank you. Who's got it better than us? Nobody.